And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Hello, trading friends and market enthusiasts. Welcome to the Coach's Playbook. The date is Tuesday, October 18th. It is IJD, joined here with Hogue and Mr. Hodgman. Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So today we're going to talk a little bit about what to do when the markets go flat and you have no trade opportunities. But first, I think we have a funded trader shout out. Who's on that? Did we ever?
Yeah, I've got the funded trader shout out today for a change. We have a trader Thecon up 12 grand trading the NASDAQ today. It's a heck of a nice day.
There's an excellent day. Yeah, we were just talking about that. He must have caught that short move a little while ago. Picking tops, right? Wasn't that a subject? That was one of our subjects a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Every so often you find one.
Yeah, right.
I have the one I picked to a tick, and I'll never forget it. It was like 5 or 6 years ago. I picked it right to a tick, and it was trading crude oil. And I don't remember who mentioned it, but we were looking at levels. I was looking at levels with someone, and it was 25 cents. And I go, you know what? I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I like 22s better. 22 is my lucky number. And so I placed a buy order at 75.22. I don't remember the actual dollar. I just knew it was 22 cents. I placed buy order, traded like 10 at 22 and bounced and recovered by like $1.50. It was a moment I'll never forget. So that was like 5 or 6 years ago. And I think that was the only time I've ever picked it to a tick.
Well, we got behind the S&P's 3 ticks from the weekly kickoff high this morning. So pretty close.
Not bad.
Close, but no cigars.
Oh, and make Hogue money this morning. Awesome. You ever sell the high, buy the low, and still lose money on the day?
I have.
Not to be a Debbie Downer or anything.
That's the problem when you're overtraded.
So what to do when you have no trade? We're going to start off. We're going to set up a little scenario for you, and then we'll just kind of swing around and each have a chance to comment on it. So we've got a blog article on our blog called What to Do When You Have No Trade. So we're going to take a similar scenario from that and just kind of paint a picture for you. So picture this. You did all the work prepping for your trading day. You followed your morning routine to a T. You reviewed your trading plan. You studied your charts. You plotted your levels. You got everything set to go. You sat down, the market opened up, and it just goes flat. That first hour of trading, when you're usually banking on 3 or 4 trades to start the day, maybe you get a couple winners in there and just nothing happens. The market's flat. What do you do next? Right off the bat, I could think of 2 things you probably shouldn't do, which is race to find another market to dive into, seeing maybe if your analysis tools will produce a few trade signals somewhere else. Usually not a good idea. Or start forcing trades outside the parameters of your trading plan or risk profile, which can lead to disaster pretty quick. Let's start with Dan. Put yourself in that scenario. What are you going to do?
Been there a time or two. First and foremost, I think we need to remind ourselves when we sit down to trade, this is not a 9-to-5 job. It doesn't mean because you're there, your job is to be trading. We're not market makers. We're not providing liquidity like you had to back in the day on standing on the floor. You get to be patient. You can look for those bigger time frame opportunities. You can really wait until that market's set up in your favor. So remind yourself what you're there to do. You're not there to trade. You're there to manage your money and slowly make it grow. So just because the market's moving slightly doesn't mean you have to dive into everything. So that's first and foremost, remind yourself that. Really, you got to start thinking about, how do I slow myself down? Number one, if you come in off the bat and you're not seeing an opportunity, don't hesitate to call it a day. I remember when I first started at Topstep, I spoke with a trader and I made a comment to him. I said, sometimes the best trade you take is the one you don't take at all. And he just said to me, he's like, that was a piece of advice I'd never heard and I needed to hear. I think we've all heard that at some point in our own careers. But that kind of has always resonated with me as something, making sure we tell traders that. So number one, you can always step away and get away. Find those design distractions. We've talked about that a million times on Coach's Playbook. I myself, TV. I have a TV right here in my office at all times. It helps kind of calm me down. It keeps me away from the trading. It allows me to kind of keep my distractions, playing phone games, something of that nature, or really get back into some studying. TS Trader, great opportunity. TS Traders, you have the replay option. Look back, find those days that were providing some really good opportunity that maybe you struggled on. Go back, kind of replay that day, see what you were missing, and then potentially implement that into your strategy going forward. I think there's a lot of steps that we can do, but number one, it really, for me, comes down to remind yourself, this is not a 9 to 5, and it doesn't mean just because you're sitting there, the markets, they're moving and you have to trade.
Right. The last thing you really want to do is bury yourself in a hole, forcing an issue too. That's when the revenge trading scenario really steps up. You start trying to scalp trades or increase your size, trying to take a few ticks out of the market just to get back to even, and you just dig yourself deeper and deeper. And I know from personal experience, just sitting there watching the market or trying to step away is one of the hardest things to do also. But getting off the topic of bad decision making and moving on to good decision making, Hogue, what would your advice be in a situation like this?
Well, I've made a lot of bad decisions too. So yeah, I mean, we're all prepared for the trading day. We've checked the charts. We've put our levels up. We've developed hypotheses as to things that we think might happen that day, and one of the things that we didn't hypothesize ends up happening. Maybe it's just the fact that the market doesn't offer much opportunity, and it is extremely difficult to walk away or just to say, you know what, I'm not seeing any of my hypotheses. I shouldn't do anything, because then you've got that little devil on your shoulder going, yeah, but you got to do something. And the other little angel's going, you know what to do. You should just walk away. And the little devil on the other side says, but what if you find a good trade? And the other angel's going, you shouldn't listen to him. You should go do something else. 99 times out of 100, the little angel on your shoulder is going to end up being the right one. But it is so difficult because we all have that little voice in the back of our head saying, well, if what you were planning on didn't play out, something else will. So we end up going looking for opportunities. And if we go looking for opportunities in a market that is not offering much opportunity, that we haven't prepared for, and that we don't have a hypothesis in, we're going to find trades. And they're probably not going to be the good ones. So you push yourself away from the desk. You take the batteries out of your mouse. Go trade on sim. Do something to keep yourself occupied from doing that. And that's, going to look for trades where you're not prepared to look for trades. And then, of course, I like Dan's idea with the design distraction. You can play a guitar, you can play the piano, you can read, you can look into the markets to say, okay, what did I miss that would have had me present this as a potential hypothesis for today? What is it that I missed?
John, you going to play some of that for us?
No, probably not. One of these days, maybe one of these days. But there's always something to do. There's always something to read, always something to learn. I got my Anne Marie Band's the trading book that I'm going to start reading here very shortly. So
excellent. I saw some people talking about that on the forecast this morning. I'm going to pick that one up also.
Yeah, she was back in the forecast and back in Make Hogue Money today. So she's down in Florida, so I'm sure she's kind of recovering from the hurricane and everything. It was good to see her today.
Oh yeah. And yeah, keep that in mind. She helps us out a lot. So anything we can do to help her out too.
Absolutely. No, it's a great book. I'm just been kind of perusing through it, and like any trading book, it's not none of them are page turners. It's not like a romance novel or something like that. It's things you have to think through and learn and reread, and especially me, I always have to reread. So there's always something else to do. It's that fear of missing out, that what, if I step away, I'm going to miss something huge. I've missed a lot of huge things. I've been the wrong way on a lot of huge things. All you're really looking for is a planned trade, and even that planned trade, perfectly planned, perfectly timed, everything perfect, can still be a losing trade. It's just part of it's just part of it. But at least there was reason and hypothesis and context, risk management, and patience involved in those trades. When you are looking for trades, you're just reaching for stabs in the dark, and you might get lucky and have a winner, but that just kind of reinforces bad behavior for the next time you're in that situation. And we all know 99 times out of 100, things usually don't go well when we're not planned.
Yeah. Those are great ideas too. And I think it's based on what you said, it's not too hard to prepare in advance for situations like this too. Going Hoag's route, you could sit down today after work or when you're done trading and spend 15 minutes putting together a checklist of things, small projects. I won't recommend taking on huge projects, but just make a list of maybe some things you want to do around the house. Things get slow, maybe focus on answering emails, or wash a couple windows, do something, just take your mind off the market. You don't necessarily have to sit there and study all day long unless that's your thing. But yeah, you can make a list of pretty much anything you want, small 10, 15-minute tasks, then keep going back and check the markets randomly throughout the day. That's a great.
I've got something I'm going to be doing right after this. Is I just decided I need to dust my desk.
Yeah, there you go. Tidy up the office.
And I can see people right now already kind of thinking, well, if I get away, I might miss that move. Well, number one, missing a move has never buried an account. And also, if you trade when you're not supposed to be trading, how many times is that buried in an account? I guarantee people listening, you can raise your hand. You knew you shouldn't have traded, but you traded anyhow, and you ended up burying your account. Skipping that day has never hurt you. And it's always been one of my bigger frustrations when I talk to a trader and says, well, I can't miss that day, or, because of this, I had to miss that big opportunity. And had I traded that, this would have happened. Well, don't ever play that game. It only is detrimental. It creates frustration. And also, my dad always told me, he goes, no one trade should make or break you as a trader. Don't ever allow one trade or one day to really have that massive of an impact on your success or failures as a trader.
Yeah. Excellent. And I pulled this quote straight from the blog I mentioned earlier. When self-control is lost, then self-harm is activated. Keep that in mind. Plays right into what Dan said there.
Again, it reminds me of my son just got a new tattoo on his arm, and it kind of goes for trading too. The tattoo says, "A wise man once said nothing." And in this case, I think sometimes a wise man will just do nothing.
Sometimes that's the best option.
Pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Pretty good.
Is that our quote for the day?
Well, I had a good quote, but that was a pretty good quote.
Yeah, that's two in a row. You got some.
I'm going to throw one more in here. It comes from Jesse Livermore, considered the father of day trading. Money is made by sitting, not trading. I thought that was pretty good.
Wise words.
Very apropos for today.
Yep.
Well, with that, thanks for joining us. We appreciate you being here as always, and we look forward to seeing you next week. And with that, Hoag, you want to close us out?
Shout out to Holden for the new background here for our coach's playbook. And don't go looking. Let the market come to you. Let the market tell you what it's going to do and how good of a job it's doing getting there. Trade well, everyone.